A really cool box set unveiled from Games Workshop today. We've got the full team of new Kroot, Imperial Navy breaches, and an awesome Space Hulk board. Hello and welcome back to Warsbets Tactics, where today we're taking a look at the Kill Team Into the Dark box set, a box set that Games Workshop had teased in that latest Warhammer preview. But in that one we only saw really a few glimpses of the models and the board that we'd be getting in this. Now they've unveiled the entire thing in full. Really awesome stuff, so let's take a look. So the box set is called Kill Team Into the Dark. I think it'll have both interest for Kill Team players and 40k players due to the really interesting models that it comes with. The set is the first of a series of new Kill Team sets set on a Space Hulk called Gallo Dark. Really quite a cool new idea for Kill Team, with some very different terrain representing a cluttered Space Hulk environment with lots of bulkheads, corridors, and some interesting plastic terrain floor things. And then on the one side we've got the Imperial Navy Breacher team, a faction that we hadn't really seen explored for 40k in any great depth, and a fairly nice new resculpt of basically Kroot Mercenaries. A very long-standing kit for the Tau Empire, and it looks like these guys will be coming with a bunch of new interesting heavy weapon options and things, so should hopefully expand the datasheet for the mercenaries in the 40k army of the Tau. They haven't said when this set's actually going to be on sale yet. My guess would be sometime in the next month, seeing as they had already teased this already, and they will be keeping Kill Team releases coming about once every 3 months, I believe. I'd guess it might be somewhat similar to the previous Kill Team Morok set, which was £125 or $210. Sorry, that's $210, not pounds, sorry. Though I guess I wouldn't be entirely surprised if this one was a little bit more, seeing as the terrain that you get's a bit more interesting, and I guess that's going to be quite a lot of plastic, as it looks like the game board is made of plastic. A little bit steep if you just want one of the kill teams, but I'm sure they'll be popping up on eBay for people who happen to only want one of the sets, and eventually no doubt Games Workshop will get around to releasing them both separately, though that's probably going to be something like 3 to 4 months away judging by previous kill team releases. Before we look at the actual Kill Team miniatures, let's just take a second to take a look at this battle board and terrain set that you get, as honestly this is one of the most impressive things about the release in my opinion. It looks like the baseboard is made of plastic as best I can tell, and all of the interlocking walls, pipework, bulkheads and all that sort of thing look like they're going to be modular, so maybe the idea is that you might be able to swap and change the different maps around depending on which games that you're playing. If so, it's really quite a fun idea. And to be honest, I suspect that some people will like it just for the little diorama that you can make. It's pretty cool looking down and seeing two sets of forces fighting each other from within the confines of an enclosed space, not something that you see all that often in 40k. They also had a few other shots of the terrain from one of their preview videos, as well as the main bits of terrain with the bulkheads and the pipes and things. It looks like there's a fair amount of barricades and stuff. You can see the Kroot guy standing behind a barricade on the top left here. It looks like they've done pretty well to create a pretty busy battlefield for the forces to fight over. According to their announcement, it sounds like the next Kill Team box will also be compatible with this, so maybe the idea is that it might tempt multiple people into getting them, and then you have a pretty crazy set of Space Hulk scenery that you can swap and change around depending on what mission you're playing. I do quite like the little plastic bulkheads and things. I wonder if you'll have to glue them in place or whether or not you can open and close them, because that would be really fun. I guess that Kill Team might require a few rules adaptations to play on this kind of terrain. I can't say I'm an expert on Kill Team myself, but apparently the box comes with a core book and an Into the Dark manual, which might have some special rules for bulkheads and the like. It is apparently going to be a starter set for Kill Team, including the core rulebook and a bunch of dice and range rulers and stuff, rather than just an expansion pack. The other really exciting bit though is of course the models. Here we have one half of the Imperial Navy Kill Team. They're an armoured breacher squad, clad in a combination of baroque-looking spacesuits and largely appearing to be armed with shotguns, though it looks like there's a whole ton of interesting special weapons within the unit. As one of these new Kill Team sets, I guess that each guy's going to have the option to chop and change their weapon. I suspect that most of them will be able to take shotguns if you want to, but of course there's all sorts of crazy stuff that you can choose to arm them with instead, as you can see. Out of this first set, we've got one rather sinister helmeted guy holding a grenade, I believe. There's one chap who looks like he's got a slimmed down chain fist and maybe an auto pistol there perhaps, a couple of guys with shotguns, and one with a bolt pistol holding the helmet under the arms. I do quite like the guy who's got the massive great big axe as well. I'm not even sure if that's supposed to be anything like a fancy power axe or anything. It might just literally be a massive axe that is just going to clock you over the head with. Nothing wrong with a bit of an old fashioned approach, even in the grim darkness of the far future, I suppose. Then we've got the other half of the kill team, and it seems that alongside 10 breacher models, you've also got 2 little supporting units, that little reconnaissance vehicle Cat that they previewed before, the one that operates as a bit of a reconnaissance scout, and a little servo skull that they call a Geist skull. I'm not sure it's entirely obvious from the miniature, but at least in the flavor text they said that it's the perfect size for holding a compact explosive, so maybe this poor dead breacher will be flying in to blow up a bulkhead, or maybe even a Kroot Mercenary. Otherwise, a bunch of really cool kit on these guys as well. One seems to be holding an Auspex scannery type thing. One looks like he's got a man-portable multi-laser, which is kind of fun, not something that you see very often. I think everyone likes a nice great big shielded guy. A breacher shield and shotgun looks like he'd be a good one for leading the charge. And then there's another guy with a scanner pack of some sort. I'd guess that it'd have all the options of doing the usual kill team specialists, things like medics and snipers and other things. Overall, really quite a cool effective kit in my opinion. Could be interesting conversion material for various other Imperial forces, like a unique regiment of Imperial Guard, or maybe a veteran unit perhaps. I'd hope that Games Workshop might give them a 40k datasheet in their own right as well. I think it'd be a bit of a weird move to make some really nice 40k models that are quite generalised, and not allowing you to field them in game. Maybe something like that Kratos tank datasheet could be nice. The other half of the box is this Kroot Mercenary kin band, a set of 12 Kroot models, including a couple of hounds, and I'm guessing that this might just be the one that actually winds up replacing the Kroot Mercenary box for Warhammer 40k. That is a bit of a venerable kit that's been around, I believe, approaching 2 decades now. Still pretty functional, but a bit basic by modern plastic kit standards. Again, my suspicion would be that you'll be able to arm all of these with their standard Kroot rifles, their traditional combo between firearm and fighting stave, but it looks like this kill team box set is introducing all sorts of interesting little options for the Kroots. They didn't have any man-portable heavy weapons now, and now it looks like they've got loads. The guy on the left looks like he's got some sort of knife and I believe some sort of shotgun thing cocked over his shoulder. The next model basically looks like it's a reimagination of the Kroot Shaper, a Tau pulse rifle brandished over his head, and a very similar knife to one of the old classic models. It seems likely that that guy's going to represent the squad leader. We've then got a fairly standard one drawing a pistol, a great big fun looking bow harpoon type contraption, and a really long barreled sniper rifle for picking off enemy characters presumably. Next up, I think that that's a relatively standard Kroot rifle, in quite a defiant looking pose. Then for the other half of the squad, we've got a combat specialist, a guy with an axe and dagger, a really quite big and intimidating looking heavy weapon. It looks like it's got some bullets feeding into it. I don't know whether it's going to be something like a Deathwatch frag cannon, or just something like a heavy bolter but a Kroot equivalent. The next one has brought their pet bird along. I believe that Games Workshop said that that was a female Kroot, not that it's particularly obvious to me between the two. And I like the way that the fun bird has got 4 eyes. There's then a very piratical looking Kroot with an eye patch and a peg leg. And finally, and perhaps most importantly in my opinion, there's 2 Kroot hounds as well. A nice couple of thoroughly savage looking dino bird dogs. Quite nice that there's 2 of them at least. It means that if you picked up 2 of these kits, you could field them as an independent Kroot hound unit in the Tau Codex. Overall, I think they've done really well with both sets of sculpts on this. I'm sure they'll be popular when they do eventually release them, and hopefully we might be getting some updated rules and datasheets both for the Kroot and the Navy to make both of them work with 40k. I guess if you want them early, it's either buy the box and use the rest or resell it, or potentially look out for the Mercenaries or the Imperial Navy breaches on eBay, though they might be going for a fair bit more than Games Workshop might sell for them later. In any case, let me know your thoughts on this Into the Dark box. Do you think it looks cool, and what do you think of the miniatures? I look forward to hearing all your insights down in the comments below, including anything that I might have missed. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics as well. I will generally keep the 40k content coming just about every day, including any news of Games Workshop's released models or rules updates. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page, and you can find that down in the video description below if you're interested. The channel Patreon is what allows me to keep on making these videos quite so regularly, so if you are enjoying a lot, then any support is massively appreciated. And channel patrons do get a fair few rewards. You get to see certain videos early, vote in regular polls to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.